When subtracting 4-digit numbers, we can use the same method as we did when subtracting 3-digit numbers. Let's look at the following calculations. 5,634 take away 3,251. Firstly, we need to line the digits up using place value headings, thousands, hundreds, tens and units. Remember, when subtracting, always put the first number of the subtraction calculation on top. In this case, the first number of our calculation is 5,634. So this goes at the top, underneath the headings. The number we are taking away is lined up underneath in the correct column. Subtraction is always top, take away, bottom. As with addition, we start with the units column. So 4 minus 1 is 3. Put 3 on the answer line in the units column. Then we move to the tens column. Remember, it's the top, take away, bottom. So now we have 3 take away 5. This is a problem because 3 is smaller than 5. We need to borrow from the next column along so that we can perform the calculation. So on the top row only, if we borrow 100 from the hundreds, we need to reduce the 6 to a 5 in the hundreds column to show we have taken 100 out, and we put the 1 we have just borrowed into the tens column, which gives us 13 tens. Now we can take away 5 tens. 13 minus 5 equals 8. So on our answer line, in the tens column, we put an 8 to show that we have 8 tens. Now we move over to the hundreds column. It is top, take away, bottom. In our 100 columns on the top row, we now have 500 left, and we need to take away 200s from the bottom row. 5 minus 2 is 3, so we put a 3 on the answer line in the hundreds column. Now we move over to the thousands column. It is top, take away, bottom. In our 1,000 column on the top row, we have 5,000, and we need to take away 3,000. 5 minus 3 is 2, so we put a 2 on the answer line in the thousands column. This means our final answer is 2383, or 2,383. You can use this method to subtract numbers with a higher number of digits. Remember to use place value headings to line the digits up, and always put the first number of the subtraction calculation on top. Let's do one more. This one's a bit more tricky, so watch carefully. 3105 minus 1466. We start in the units column, and it's the top, take away the bottom, don't forget. 5 minus 6. We can't do this because 5 is less than 6. We need to borrow. But if you look at the tens column, there is a 0, so we have no tens to lend out. In order to lend a 10 to the units column, the tens column we will need to borrow from the hundredth column. It is really important that you do one thing at a time here and record what you are doing as you're going along, so let's deal with the first. Reduce the 100 by 1, so you have no hundreds left. The tens column has borrowed 1 from the hundreds, so now we have 10 tens in the tens column. We only need to borrow 1 from the units to leave 9 in the tens column. We now have 15 in the units. Now we are ready to subtract. 15 minus 6 is 9. So 9 goes on the answer line under the units. 9 minus 6 is 3. So 3 goes on the answer line under the tens. 0 minus 4 can't be done, so we need to borrow from the next column. So record this by crossing out 3 and inserting a 2 in the thousands and putting a 1 in the hundreds, which is really 10 hundreds. 10 minus 4 equals 6. Put 6 on the answer line in the hundreds. And 2 minus 1 equals 1. Put this on the answer line in the thousands column. We have now used all the numbers, so our answer is 1639, or 1,639. That was a bit tricky because the borrowing was more complicated, but you just need to do one job at a time and always record what you are borrowing.